www.mancavesite.org is the cyber grand central for all things that have to do with man caves. They have links such as Cave Crusade, Entercavement, special events, recipes, Mom Cave versus Man Cave, and they even have a Man Cave of the Year award. Mancavesite.org is a gentle reminder to all of us that there's nothing wrong with a little bit of personal time. Everyone needs a little personal time. But personal time becomes a problem when it becomes a pattern, particularly if that pattern comes as a result of unresolved conflict in relationships. Withdrawal is the loneliest of the 7 deadly relationship sins. Human beings are social creatures wired for relationship, made in the image of a social relational God. And so if we don't have good, healthy relationships, we deprive ourselves the same way we would if we didn't eat enough food or drink enough water, get enough sunlight or exercise. We need relationships the way we need those basic physical things. When we don't have those healthy relationships, we suffer loneliness. Loneliness is actually bad for your health, associated with increased mortality, up to 50%, comparable to smoking, and 2 times the risk of obesity. Loneliness impairs immune function. It boosts inflammation. It can lead to type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and arthritis. The Proverbs know what they're saying when they say, "A merry heart does good like a medicine, but a downcast spirit dries up the bones." Apparently, loneliness is on the rise. A Dr. Cassiopo from the University of Chicago has noted that loneliness has increased since the 1980s. He estimated it at about 20% in the 1980s, and he says today it's more like 40%. A recent UK study showed that loneliness was higher in the 18 to 34 age range. In other words, those that are more connected via social networking are apparently less connected in actual personal relationships. Relationships involve 2 main skills. Let me call it friend making and friend keeping. Now, some of us are strong in one of those, but not the other. We may be very, very good at holding on to relationships and forming intimate bonds, but we have a difficult time making friends. But some people are kind of on the other end of the spectrum, where they can form surface relationships and they do okay in the novel phase of a relationship, but they have a difficult time working through conflict into the deeper phases of relationships. So sometimes friend keeping is what suffers. The reason that we have difficulty keeping friends sometimes is because we don't have good conflict resolution skills. The marriage therapist, well-known John Gottman, says that the difference between masters and disasters is the ability to repair a relationship. So the replacement for withdrawal is repair. And the crucial aspect of that repair process is the environment within the relationship. Have you created an environment through generosity and kindness that makes the individual with whom you are attempting to repair inclined to want to repair with you? Gary Chapman wrote a wonderful book called The 5 Love Languages, and in the book he identified 5 different ways in which we communicate and receive the communication of love. And he identified them as affirmative words, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch. The genius of the book is that it pulls us out of ourselves to where we talk in the other person's language, really basically acting unselfishly. And when we are consistently unselfish in a relationship, when something goes wrong, however awkwardly we may attempt to repair that, if we have been kind to that person and loving to that person and talked in their love language, they're going to want to repair with us and they're going to be very receptive, and that is going to determine the success of the repair attempt. Another very important skill is very simple, very universal, and it's simply to say you're sorry. When you go to repair a situation, take responsibility for what you did to cause the problem. Don't focus on their responsibility, focus on your own, and then leave them space to take responsibility for what they did. And just simply say, I'm sorry. With these conflict resolution skills, these repair skills in place, we can repair relationships and in that way move forward into the deeper layers of intimacy rather than withdrawing from those relationships. The replacement for withdrawal is repair. Get your toolbox and start using your tools.